I'm not frying my chicken with my Kool-Aid and my watermelon because I'm black and he's black and he eat his chicken. Eat his chicken, yeah. Making me bad, guys.
Crash Nebula, Don Corleone, Rory, Frankie Delano, all aliases for Chicago-based producer who spearheaded the instrumentals for the recent project 24 Hour Sours, released by the Tonkhouse Group. Delano's internet presence dates back over 4 years with a defunct SoundCloud account and a post entitled Snow. The track was originally set to serve as an instrumental for the planned rap album Big Yellow House. However, the album never saw the light of day, and a full rap project produced by Delano would not come until almost half a decade later. Joining Delano on the album is Jay Garcia, also known as Jarhead, fellow Chicago resident and the host of Tonkhouse events. While the duo comprised the majority of the project, they were also joined by Tonkhouse associates Mary, Chris, and Anthony. As a whole, the album draws many similarities to lo-fi and underground rap music. Delano is no stranger to these genres, as his prior work has been comprised mainly of lo-fi instrumentals, with some slight variations when working with other artists. The opening track, Chicken Patties, continues the trend of lo-fi beats, with vocals by Jarhead being pitched down, a common trope of underground rap. Lyrically, the track is fairly similar to most modern rap, in that the focus is on drugs and sex. It's not anything that hasn't been said before, but there are a few humorous lines that arise. To the group's credit, I would not expect vast amounts of substance from the lyrics, considering the limited span of time they had while writing. All things considered, this track served as a good intro to the album and flows well into the next track. Simp Shit is a track that doesn't take itself too seriously. Delano, using the alias Rory, takes the first verse, delivering corny lyrics to fit with the overall joke of the song. Further vocals from other members follow, all contributing to the same joke of simping. The track has one major downfall in that it clips. I can understand being pressed for time leading to an inferior mix, but I feel the track could have benefited from a limiter on the master bus, even if it meant crushing some of the dynamics. Though it is an issue for this track, it does not appear to be a recurring problem. I can only assume this error was from a lack of sleep and a desire to finish the project in the allotted time. Following this track, Kendamas and Backwoods opens with a Star Wars clip and a darker sample than the prior two tracks. The title references to the use of Kendamas by the Tonkhouse members, common pastime during the making of the album due to the amount of members in the room at once with relatively few things to do in between vocal takes. Jarhead delivers the chorus and first verse, with the same sort of pitch vocals as in the opening track. Lyrical content here is much of the same. However, Anthony brings one of the most hilarious and entertaining verses I have heard in a while. Using Star Wars references to deliver punchlines with an atypical delivery and awkward flow, he creates one of the more memorable verses on the track. Chris sees his first verse on the project, with braggadocious lyrical content carried by a unique and aggressive delivery when compared to the other members. Rory delivers the last verse on the track and focuses more on a syncopated flow when compared to the other tracks on the album. The next track, Pussy Popped, is kicked off by Jarhead sounding similar to the other tracks, focusing heavily on his ability to please a woman more sufficiently than other men. Anthony delivers another hilariously unusual verse, sounding even more sloshed and drawn out, though it seems the vocals have been stretched to compensate for timing issues. On this track, Rory delivers a bar that calls back to his work in the rap project O Onryo, a short-lived project based in Texas. The bar was taken from the 2018 track Nightmare, which featured far more aggressive and distorted sounds when compared to this project.
If the cops saw me and start asking questions, I whip out the stick and then teach them a lesson. I'm guessing you fools ain't been doing enough, cause my nick copping bricks and then moving the stuff.
The next part of the verse is taken from the track Promethazine, also released in 2018.
I just sat down in my lawn chair. She think I do, but I don't care. I put some ice on my wrist and your bitch wanna lay, but I'm dashing, it's not fair. I just pass out on my lawn chair, so can't ignore all the nightmares. Got some dead witches and bitches be scheming when they are asleep here in my lair. I just copped a new whip, who wanna get lit? Okay. I don't want a new bitch, cause I am not a pimp. I'm not. And I got a grocery cutie, so I put my tongue in her booty. Now she looking at me like, wow, when I grab my gat, it just kick like a pow.
The lyrics on this verse overall hold more substance, as it was one of the few instances where the words were not directly written for the track they were put on. Flowers is one of the more serious tracks on the album. Anthony delivers lines fantasizing about fame and financial security while staying grounded through it all. This is quite a jump from the past two verses and is accompanied by a more mellowed out tone. Jarhead delivers a slow and pitched down interlude, with the song sounding almost like a chopped and screwed track during this section. The vocals are then passed to Rory, whose delivery carries a heavy similarity to the spoken word style of underground rap. It is one of the more obvious instances of underground influence, with a slower rhythm and a focus on trials, providing a break from the goofier bits. Listeners are then thrust back into a more lighthearted tone, with DJ Dirty Dick's outrolude. This track is one of the more unique moments on the album, as it focuses less on the vocal content for its humor and paints a picture of how the lack of sleep affected the production process. Various groans and vocal clips are peppered throughout the track, along with the rap vocals, illustrating the difference in ideas as the hours drew on. It's also considerably shorter in terms of actual rapping, perhaps due to a lack of mental clarity or not wanting to risk sounding like a broken record. Regardless, while the track does less to serve as a fully fledged song, it's a unique piece of the album that gives context to the entire goal of the project, that is, making a project under a 24-hour time limit. The album concludes the same way it started. Jarhead delivers the only verse on the shortest track of the entire project. Even with its short length, I found this track to be one of the most enjoyable on the tape, as the drums here are more similar to a trap song than a lo-fi boom bap track. This gives it a different feel, while the sampled vocals allow it to fit in with the rest of the tracks on the project. It serves as an interesting period to an even more interesting tape. The album was an impressive feat for the Tonk House team. Releasing a fully fledged project in under a day is not an easy task, but it did come at the cost of some originality when examined lyrically. While the beats and overall tones of each respective track were enough to differentiate the songs, the lyrics were less unique from track to track, leading some of the lines to be more forgettable than they could have been. Regardless, the team successfully accomplished their goal without sacrificing too much of the quality. It was rushed with intent and didn't take itself too seriously. I believe this is exactly where Delano excels. His production style has always had a rather eccentric sound to it. It's never deliberately made to impress anyone. It's not made for popularity. It's not made to emulate anyone. It's making music for the sake of making it, something that many people seem to shy away from. Though it may only appeal to a niche of individuals who were either involved in the project or like the style, it was a proof of concept, a challenge that the team undertook to see if they were able enough. I enjoyed a good majority of the project and would have no problem giving it a 7 out of 10. I may hold some bias, as I have seen Delano's production evolve over time and enjoy the various changes it undergoes. Despite this, I am genuinely eager to hear what the Tonk House team can achieve when given more time and resources.